Yeah. This is the Legacy League. Tell me what will your legacy be? Yeah.
Welcome to a big post-game show when we brought out the big guns. I don't know how much money Joey had to pay to get us on this post-game show, but it must have been a lot because you got the weekly rebound back for a championship / all-star game post-game show / podcast, whatever you want to make of it. You know how we do. We're versatile, and being versatile is something that led to our first champion. And no spoilers, but I think a certain someone who is a big kahuna in this league is going to be happy about that. But first, we got Connor here. Connor, how you doing?
Doing great, brother. What a week it was in Legacy Leagues. Probably, I think, the first time in league history where we had the All-Star game and the championship in the same week, only separated by just a few days. Both games were crazy. You can't wait to recap it. I know you had a great week as well. You were just at the 50 Cent concert last night. How you feeling, my guy?
Yeah, Fiddy. I definitely felt better, but it was worth it for Fiddy. One thing you gotta love about Fiddy is he plays all the hits. You know, he just runs through the hits. Like, you know, you get in the club, you get just a little bit, you get all that 21 quiet. Like, he'll do all the hits, and I think that's why Fiddy's a GOAT. But I gotta say, you gave me a great transition here because speaking of all the hits, there was someone getting all the hits, and that was Dante Hodge in the 3-point contest on All-Star Night, and he did something that 50 Cent would have made him proud. I think the rest of the shooters wanted to go many men on Dante Hodge after this. If anyone knows what I'm saying there, because Dante Hodge, he went absolutely crazy. I remember before the 3-point contest, I told you he could do it, and I mean, he went crazy. So first off, we're gonna do the 3-point contest. No sponsor for this one. I think the Finals MVP got a sponsor, so shout out that. But Dante Hodge ended up taking the 3-point contest in this one. We had Reggie Stewart from Run TMC, Jelly Chapman from Trailblazers, Tyron McCray from Get Money, Angelo D'Amato from Snipe Squad, and of course our commish, Joey Sacco from Run TMC, Halfway Crooks, you know, Stranger Danger, all those teams. But like I said, Dante kind of took it away. But Connor, I mean, what did you see? I know we were kind of watching the same thing, but what did you kind of notice from the rest of the guys in this contest and Dante?
Yeah, first of all, I don't know if anybody was able to hear that, but my dog was just going crazy in the background. So if anybody heard that, I apologize. But yeah, man, what an exhilarating 3-point contest that really was. The defending champ, Joey Zacco, coming back down from Rhode Island to defend his belt. And even he said after, he said, man, Dante Hodge, 24 points in the final round. That was pretty crazy, huh? Where me and you looked, and I think we asked Joey, he said, yeah, Joey, how many did you have, like, in your best round, you know, in any of those 3-point contests that you've won in the past? And I think he said like 18 or 19. To just kind of put into perspective, you know, one of the guys that is the best at doing this, he's so experienced at it. You know, he started this league because he's been playing on mini hoops for so long, growing up as a kid and whatnot. So there's probably very few people that have as many attempts, you know, shooting the 3-ball on the 8.5-foot rim as Joey Zacco's. And for him to say that, you know, he's not even, you know, come within 4 or 5 of that number in his lifetime, maybe in a practice round he's had or whatnot. But that kind of just put into perspective just how crazy it was that Dante did this. I had really high hopes for Jelly. I thought Jelly was going to, you know, take over this competition. But nonetheless, man, we were watching Dante warm up, Greg, you and I, and his form. And I said, I've never seen, like, in game, it all happens so fast that you really don't get a chance to process just how clean his form really is. And the type of shooter where you give him time and space to where he can just, you know, just put that thing up time after time, get into a rhythm. You saw what you got. I mean, that's dangerous. You cannot let Dante Hodge get hot. You can't give him any time. You can't give him any space. And when in 3-point contest, you got all of that. So you give him 2 minutes to work with. Man, he got into a rhythm and he was banging down those shots. Definitely some good performances from the other guys. But I mean, this wasn't just a winning performance by Dante. It was completely dominating. He was, you know, lights out. And I can't really recall where his best rack was, Greg, because he was hot from all over. He's got that lefty stroke, so he was kind of adjusting his shot to the part of the court that he wanted to be shooting from, obviously with the left side being in his favor. So really just got to give him the tip of the hat. What a performance from Dante Hodge.
Yeah, no. Shout out Dante. Shout out the back outside boys. I'm glad they're getting some some hardware this season because they had a rough year. They didn't never really had a full team. Always had guys coming in and out. So shout out Dante. Shout out to a few of these guys. Shout out my guy Angelo. We'll talk about some of these guys. These guys will come into play in the All Star game. So we'll move on to the dunk contest next. And it was another great game. I guess game. I don't know. I guess contest you could say. But it was really close, and it was the dunk contest is always fun because you really never know what we're gonna get. And we had Tim Case from Snipe Squad. We got Jaquan Bromell from Trailblazers. Got Eric Singleton was not there. Eric Singleton redeemed team. Shout out Redeem Team. Shout out Redeem Team real quick. We got Taishi McCray from Get Money. We got Jake Morales. And then we got Kyle Davis coming to return his defend his crown. But it's a really good one. Jake Morales did take it in the end. And I was glad he could come back and kind of get revenge for last year. He had a really, really few good dunks last year, and I know he feels like he got a little snubbed. So, Connor, I'll let you take it away here. But what'd you see, and how did Jake kind of capture this title?
It's funny that as it came down to Jake and his teammate Jaquan Bromell in the final round, and I think we've been talking all season long. A big storyline has been just how tall Bromell is, and if he's too
Yeah.
tall and whatnot. And his height has just been a big conversation that's been going around the league. And it's so funny how ultimately his height worked against him in a disadvantaged way here because it made Jacob Morales jumping over him just look that much more crazy just because of how big Jaquan is. So, yeah, I think that was just a funny little, underlying storyline there that happened. But yeah, man, two great athletes putting on a show. There was an earlier dunk by Jaquan where he went over Jelly, and there was an unbelievable picture that just got posted up on social media. So definitely go check that out. There was a great angle from one of our photographers. Just, I mean, airborne, right over the top. Just insane athlete. Jaquan came over when he was trying to figure out one of his dunks. Obviously, I was judging the competition, Greg, while you were over there doing the MC. And he was like trying to figure out what he wanted to do for his next dunk. And I think I heard something about him being a crazy track star. And I said, I want to see this guy's long jump. So I told him to go from the free throw line. And man, he cocked back and he flew from the free throw line with ease, man. And then I'm thinking, all right, maybe that was too easy for him, which kind of just puts again into perspective just how crazy of an athlete he is. Where a free throw line soaring dunk, basically across the court, looks easy for a guy like that. So that was some crazy dunks by him. Taishi McCray was pretty impressive. He had some nice, some reverse dunks and hammering dunks underneath the rim. Tim Case let me down, man. I'm not gonna lie. That guy was one of the best in-game dunkers in the league, and then he kind of mailed it in at the end. You went for some difficult dunks that he wasn't getting, and then he kind of just gave up and threw down some easy dunks just to get it out of there. I expected more from Tim Case. And Kyle Davis was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Greg, the defending champion in this tournament last year, and in the contest last year. He was good as well, but it came down, obviously, like I said, to Jaquan and Morales. And, I will say Jacob started out the contest really strong with a dunk that he was so close to hitting. And I was judging alongside our guest star there, Derek Smith, and he said, man, if he hit that thing, that would have been a 10. And me and Derek were each holding out our 10s for a while there during the contest because there were some really good dunks. But if you give something a 10 early on, then you can't really go above that, right? So we were trying to hold on to that 10 till we really saw it. Jake advanced into the next round, and he finally was able to pull off that dunk that he couldn't succeed on in that first round, where he had to go to an alternate dunk just to get past into the next round. And then that second round, he was able to pull it off the way he wanted to, and he got that 10. And then again, he cleared friggin' Jaquan Bromell for the the game winner, where it was the Vince Carter. It's over. So like you said, he got snubbed last year in his opinion, and he came back with a vengeance, and he took the crown. So shout out to Jacob Morales.
Yeah, no, I mean, shout out to Jake. He went off, and he has that ability, and he's not only a good dunker, he's a great in-game player. And speaking of an in-game we had with him, we got the All-Star game, which was another great game. And it came down to the wire before we get to the result, which was the East taking it 128-126. I'm going to mention each All-Star. A few of them didn't show up, so we'll get to those guys first, and then I'll go team by team. So shout out to Eric Singleton, 7-time All-Star, TJ Gianni, 2-time All-Star, Will Hudson, 5-time All-Star, Nick Japs, 2-time All-Star, and Jose Suarez, 1-time All-Star. Shout out to those guys. You guys had great seasons, so shout out to them. But for the teams, we had the East team that did end up taking it. Tim Case from Snipe Squad, Jordan Moorhead from the Biggest Skis, Kyle Davis obviously from Get Money, Jaquan Bromell from Trailblazers, Tyshee McCrae from Get Money, and Derek Smith. Shout out to our guy. Then we had on the West team, Reggie Stewart, Angela D'Amato, Javon Chapman, aka Jelly, Dante Hodge, Tyron McCrae, and Jake Morales. And it was a really, really good game. It was super back and forth. Watching talent like this on the court is so much fun because it's really cool to see guys play together who never probably played together before. And it's just that's what we love about these All-Star games, especially when it's a great game. Derek Smith fit in. He was banging threes all over. He's a phenomenal basketball player, and it was great to have him there. But, I mean, Connor, what did you really see in this one? I mean, it was a really back-and-forth game, and Kyle Davis just kind of stole the show in the end.
Yeah, I really love the format that we've been doing the All-Star game in recently, where in the fourth quarter, Joey will announce the number that we're going for. And it's no longer a timed fourth quarter. It's just a race to that number. And, the West was chasing points, man, there at the end. They were down significantly at portions during that game. Something I kind of noticed early on was the East came out trying hard. They were not slacking at all. Like they came out, they were like trying to grab the offensive rebounds and playing tough defense. And then I think it was Reggie Stewart. He looks up and he's like, "Man, I didn't drive all the way out here tonight just to get embarrassed in this All-Star game and go home. They got a guy on the other team that doesn't even play in the league who's just destroying us right now." Shout out to Derek Smith, who finding out was a very good basketball player. Greg, obviously, we didn't know much of who he was. He's got a very big following on social media. You guys should just go follow him on YouTube and Instagram. He posted a great video. We'll get into that later. But, yeah, he was a baller, and he was a wild card. We really didn't know what we were going to get out of him, and he came out just absolutely hooping on these guys. And I think the West looks around at each other. All of a sudden, they're like, guys, we got to lock in. Like, this is bad. And you saw the intensity level greatly increase from the West, specifically in the second half of this game, where they really, they pulled themselves back into this game. And we talked about it, man. Dante Hodge, one of the best three-point performances we've seen in the contest in Legacy League's history, carries that momentum. He goes 6 for 7 from three, and all those threes were big shots to get this game real close. They were trailing. They had to do a lot more work to meet that number at the end there in the fourth than the East did. And the East you start to let off the gas a little bit, and they start to struggle. And before you know, man, it looked like the West might have had a chance to win, but the East just barely holds on. They get that 2-point win. Kyle Davis, man, looked like last year's finals. Kyle Davis, the way he was playing, MVP of this game, he was phenomenal. He had I think 2 less points than Derek Smith, if I'm not mistaken. I think Derek Smith had a 40 piece. Kyle Davis with the 38, but Kyle was just so well rounded with the 5 rebounds and the 10 assists, a double double there on really efficient shooting. So definitely earned the MVP. So that was just a really entertaining game, Greg. I love the new format that we've been rocking with. Really big performances. Jelly was awesome in this game. Reggie was, I think was the motor behind that second effort that you really saw from the West in that second half. You just, really motivated these guys. Let's get our shit together right now, because it might be an All-Star game. It might not have too much, but let's play for some pride. Definitely saw that from Reggie. Tyron McCrae was hitting threes. Just a really good game overall.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. It was one of the better All-Star games. I even told, I think I told you and Joey after the game, I was like, one of the better All-Star games I've seen. It was super fun, and it was just a great game. So shout out all the guys. They all played great, and they were all super deserving. No All-Stars on that list were just, all of those guys were deserved to be All-Stars. And if anyone says differently, Rosinski, you can come at me, but shout out to my All-Stars there. And we're going to get to the next one, which is the big one. And that's where Run TMC and Joey Zacco captured their first championship. Someone popped the champagne. Let's do the sparklers. Let's bring the girls in. Let's get it going, because that's what Run TMC did. It was an incredible game. Run TMC took it 57-55 Reggie Stewart went home with the Finals MVP. He had 23, 13, and 4, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. And it was really incredible game. It was back and forth throughout. A lot of fun trash talking, never too serious, nothing ever too far, just a lot of back and forth. And I mean, Reggie Stewart didn't have his best game, but it was really the Eric Langston show. He came and set the tone, and I think really changed this game. But I mean, we'll kind of get into it. First to start, Connor, just overall, what do you think? What did you think about this game, and how did Run TMC finally capture the elusive Legacy Leagues championship?
Man, it was a big run from TMC. The end of the third into the fourth quarter, where the game was super close throughout. You know, it was back and forth for a vast majority of this game, until Run TMC finally got that momentum that they were looking for. It was really going to be, in my mind, it was like, which one of these teams, like I said in the beginning, they were just trading punches. But I said to myself, which one of these teams is finally going to get that momentum that they turn into a 10-point run? Whoever does that is going to win the game. And I was very confident in that. But sure enough, it was Run TMC who went on that run, and it was looking like they were going to run away with it once they did, because they really went on it at the perfect time. Like I said, the end of the third, going into the fourth, all of a sudden you're up 10. Get Money was starting to argue with themselves, which you don't often see from a team like that. They are very well put together. They're very well, I would say, quote unquote, coached by Tyron McRae, who kind of put this team together, and it's definitely the spearhead of this roster. You know, they started to kind of bicker amongst themselves. You know, a couple of the guys were yelling to their friends who were in the crowd about how the ball's not moving around, and guys are kind of standing around playing isolation, and it's looking like Get Money was about to fall apart. And I will say, man, I've never seen Kyle Davis more vocal in a game in my entire life, and watching him in over the last 2 seasons. There was a possession where there's a foul, and then Get Money's arguing with the referees, and Kyle says, "Hey, everybody, let's get together real quick." He pulls all the guys, they circle up. He tells everybody, "Let's lock in right now. Stop arguing. Stop talking shit to these guys. Let's just lock in, all of us together as a unit." And then you saw Get Money really turn it around. They were down, I think it was 11 points with around 7 minutes left to go in this game. And slowly but surely just chipped away. It didn't come in one big run. It wasn't like, Get Money went on a 10-point run and all of a sudden it was tied up. No, it was just a 2-pointer here, a 2-pointer there, a 3-pointer, a stop. And slowly but surely they were just, chipping away at that deficit. And they found themselves in a spot late in this game. I don't think that they would have argued that they would want to be anywhere else. They got to the free throw line. Tyshee McRae and Kyle Davis were both getting to the free throw line efficiently and effectively at the end of this game. And I got to give the referees a lot of credit. There's been a lot of arguing about the officiating in this league this season. The referees did a great job. They look at the free throw totals for both teams, very even. And a lot of times in big moments of basketball games, referees will swallow their whistle and just let these guys kind of hack each other, and they won't really make those big calls. But they were giving the right foul calls to Get Money in certain situations where TMC got a little over-aggressive trying to stop these shots at the rim. And Get Money took advantage, hit their free throws, and then next thing you know, they find themselves with the lead late in this game. We're under 15 seconds left, and Run TMC has the ball with a basket that they need to score if they want to win this championship. And it was just a crazy possession, man. Eric Singleton, off of a jump ball, gets possession. Unbelievable defense by Tyshee McRae. Like, you can't ask for a better defensive one-on-one performance against one of the guys in the league, and Eric Singleton, who's better at going to the rim than pretty much most players that you're going to go up against. He was able to poke that ball clean away from Eric Singleton. The ball was literally just floating right in front of Eric and Tyshee. It was just a matter of who can get their hand on it first. Eric, with a very quick reaction, was able to regain the possession. Looks over his shoulder, looks right over to his side. There's Eric Langston calling for the ball way out in no man's land. Like, I don't know why Eric is that far away from the basket. Like, he wasn't even close to the 3-point line. He was damn near at the half-court line, gets the ball, and fires it up. And I'm on the other side of the court. I'm watching this all. I can see the shot clock. He's got like 5 seconds left in the game. He's shooting a shot that you would shoot with like less than 1 second left in the game, just like a desperation heat. He had 5 seconds to work with, maybe take a few steps in, maybe look for Reggie on a pass. He had a lot of time to work with and just fires up a Hail Mary bomb. And it was nothing but nylon, the purest of pure. Didn't even touch the rim, just drained it, absolutely drilled it. And Eric, I will say, had been talking more shit than anybody in that game. You probably talked more shit than anyone on either team combined. He was literally the vocal, the most vocal guy out there. And he had some plays that he was slamming it on guys and banging some threes, and he had a couple plays where he was the victim of some really insane dunks, one by Kyle Davis that sticks out. But one thing I'll say about Eric Langston, man, is he'll never shy away. He will stand on business. So it was just right that it came down to him with the ball in his hands, with the game on the line. He was that guy. And, shout out to Eric, man. You really can't ask for, a better guy, a more funny dude he's pure entertainment when he's out there playing. He makes the league a better place, and just really happy for him to Run TMC. Even though I picked Get Money, I will say you can't ask for a better game. And at the end of the day, Greg, you might pick a team here or there, but we're all about the league and the league's success. And games like this and players like Eric Langston are the reason why the league is as fun as it is. So really, that's just that was my total recap of those last few minutes of this game.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was an incredible last few minutes. Eric Langston plays basketball the way it's meant to be played, just having fun. It's like, when you're a kid, just kind of having fun with your friends, talking shit out there. And he's an incredible player. He's someone who he's had a funny evolution in this league. He first joined, and it's like, you're not messing with Eric Langston. And I feel like now people don't really realize how good he is. Like, Eric Langston, I know a lot of people think oh, he's a kind of a bigger guy. He's going to be down low. Like, yeah, he'll play down low. Don't get me wrong. He'll dominate down low. But you have to face guard him. You have to face guard him. And I remember in the third quarter, there was a possession where I think Eric hit 2 or 3 threes in a row. Just went down, kept banging the threes. And the first possession, they didn't really face guard him. The second one, they kind of went at him. And the third one, they were right in his face, and he hit it again. And then I remember Get Money started arguing, and I remember looking over and seeing them just kind of put their hands up. And he's like, what do you want me to do at that point? Because what do you kind of do at that point? Do you just kind of let him get the 2 points and drive to the hole? It's just he provides such an interesting matchup dilemma for every single team in this league. I think he's the hardest matchup in this league. I'm not saying he's the best. I mean, he's one of the best players in this league for sure. But just the way he attacks not only you physically but mentally, it's incredible. So it's something else. So shout out to Run TMC. I want to give a shout out to Get Money too. I know I've been running the Taishima McCray Defensive Player of the Year train. I've been saying it all year, and I don't think anyone's ever played harder in this league than him. Melquan Horton's a really good example of someone. I think, Connor always has loved Melquan. I think Melquan's someone who played comparably hard. And I hope Quan's doing well wherever he is. But I'm going to say something that he won't like. I think Taishin just maybe not plays harder, but is a little – his offensive game is a little more refined. But the way he attacks the hoop, he'll it's not that he attacks the hoop kind of there's certain guys in this league that play football, and I'm sure he played football, that really attack the hole and just kind of aggressively go at it. He'll go at the hole. He'll go at the hole and just put his body on the line, not in a way that he's going to get an offensive foul, but where he's going to – and you'll hear it when he hits the deck. It sounds like it hurts. There's times I see it and I wince in pain. But on the offensive end, he does that. And then on the defensive end, he's been put on a poster. And this is why it reminds me a lot of Melquan. Melquan used to get dunked on all the time. But, that's – if you want to be a good defensive player in legacy leagues, you're going to get dunked on. That's part – I've seen Mike Davis get dunked on. I'm pretty sure Eric Singleton got dunked on twise this year. It happens. But if you want to be an elite defender, you got to do that. So I just wanted to give him his flowers and Get Money some credit. They played an incredible game. I mean, if you lose to Eric Langston making that shot, you just kind of tip your hat and move on to the next one. So Connor, I'm going to throw a question to you. Obviously, both these teams probably coming back. We'll go team by team. I want to get your first thoughts on Get Money. What do you think Get Money kind of needs to do to get over this hump? There's a lot of teams in the past that have done this. I remember Shocker. Rosinski's team with Shocker City. That was like his fourth team. Joey with Run TMC now. I believe it was their like sixth finals they've been in. There's a lot of teams. Flint, who was in this league, who a lot of people thought never could win a championship, and they ended up doing it. Shout out my guys. So what does Get Money kind of have to do now? You know, they've been to two finals. They've lost to two incredible teams. I mean, Yaga and Run TMC. But what do they got to do to kind of get over this hump?
I mean, it's tough to say that they have to do anything, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they found themselves in the best situation possible. You know, Run TMC is firing a damn near half-court shot to win the league. I mean, let's be real. That's what it is. They're firing a half-court shot to win the league. When that ball leaves Eric Langston's hand, I think me and most people are thinking that's not going in. You know, it's not that Eric Langston can't make the shot, but if you're a betting man, the percentages from that shot out there on that part of the court are not high. Especially if even Eric was I was literally showing Eric the clip right after the game, and he's literally laughing like it didn't feel good when it left my hand. I was off balance. I'm on the wrong side. He was saying all the reasons why that shot shouldn't have gone in. But when you're Eric Langston, Greg, like me and you are average sized guys, so we know like when you shoot a heave of a shot like that, you have to put so much into it that your form is all screwed up. But when you're as strong and as big as Eric Langston, you can get that ball up while keeping your good shooting form. You know, that's the advantage that he has, being a big man out there that can shoot, which was part of the reason why he was able to make that shot. But I mean, if you're Get Money, it's like, what do I have to do to get over the hump? I don't know, just pray that somebody doesn't hit a half court in the league. I mean, they did everything they can. They have a great roster. Their construction of this roster was in my opinion, brilliant. I know there's going to be some people. I know we were talking to Chris Wazinski, who was kind of criticizing the way that those three guys, and Tyron, Taisheen, and Kyle, weren't sharing the court enough together. But honestly, I kind of like the way they formatted their roster with Taisheen coming off the bench. I think they're all three kind of alphas. And three alphas on the court at the same time is kind of hard to be successful. I mean, you know, we've seen it with some of the super teams in the NBA recently with like James Harden on some of these rosters that, you know, he kind of joins and it's like it doesn't really work all together, you know, but I kind of liked how they bring Taisheen off the bench. All of a sudden now when they do those rotations that, you know, Get Money is known for, where they bring in like 3-4 guys in one swap, you bring in a guy like Taisheen who's a multi-time all-star and one of the best players in the league, with fresh legs to kind of replace Tyron or Kyle, and then you can kind of always have some star power out there at the same time. And it worked, man. I know that they didn't win, but at the end of the day, they found themselves in a situation where, you know, winning. Like I love whenever I'm betting on any sports game, ESPN always has those live odds where it says like, you know, the percentage chance that a particular team has of winning. I'm always like following that as I bet on games. And if ESPN was able to give like live odds when that ball was leaving Eric Langston's hand at the, you know, the part of the court where he was shooting it from, I would guarantee you that the odds were probably like 90% in favor of Get Money winning the championship. So what do they have to do? Here's what they have to do. They have to come back with the same roster, at least maybe add a guy to make things even easier for them. But all you really got to do is keep your core together, come back, bring that same Get Money intensity that they always do bring to all these, you know, all these games that they play in, because, you know, whether it be regular season, playoffs, championship, they bring that energy every single week. So they just got to keep doing that. Bring back your core, bring back those big three, and maybe supplement some guys in there if they want. But regardless, the way they're built right now, they're a championship roster, championship contender. So really, what do they have to do? In my opinion, not much. Just come back and keep playing.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Just keep kind of pushing, keep doing your thing. You'll get over the hump. Journey's not easy sometimes. Just kind of got to keep pushing. I do want to say something that came to my head just randomly. Remember Get Money last year had Alex Willis?
Yes. Yep.
Remember that? That just randomly came to my head, and I was looking at the Yaga Get Money final where Yaga won by 3, and Alex Willis had 10 that game. I was just looking. That was something I just forgot. It's just funny how Legacy Leagues works and how, like, you know, players go from team to team. But all right, I'm gonna throw you a different question, but kind of for TMC here. What's kind of the one thing you think TMC's got to do to repeat? What's like the crucial thing to kind of, you know, it's hard to repeat. Only 3 teams have done it. Shout out Shocker City, Monstars, and Brotherhood. What do they got to do to kind of get another chip?
Yeah, I saw the way Joey kind of posed that question for us in that document, and man, it's he said, how do they got to kind of keep that dominance that they want to keep, like teams like the Monstars, like the Brotherhood, like Shocker City, who also became Yaga from last season, so basically the
Yeah,
same guys. If you
yeah,
think about those teams, Greg, man, they were head and shoulders above the rest. You know what I mean? Like they
yeah.
were dominant rosters. And you think about that Monstars team. I mean, we only saw Eric Langston's brother, Greg Langston, show up for only one season, but I mean, we still talk about that was my first season ever experiencing
Oh yeah,
leagues, and watching a guy like Greg Langston go out there for the Monstars and just destroy kids on a weekly basis. And it was never even competitive when he was out there. There was literally nobody in the league that even stood a chance at guarding him. They had Reggie Stewart, who was like their second or third option on that team. Like he literally might have been a third option. They had Pooch on the
Pooch.
team. Um, Man, they were just stacked, dude. So they were so much better than everybody else. I mean, we saw Yaga last season, even though they came down to the wire with Get Money pretty much in the finals. Um, there was a big talent discrepancy on that roster as well, and as well as the Shocker City teams in the past. I mean, they had Carmine, who was like a third or fourth option on that team, So I think if you're Run TMC, how do you keep that dominance like those other teams? Is that you got to add more. I mean, they were the best team in the league this season. Can't take it away from them, but it was also extremely close, right? Like it was very close up there at the top. I mean, Get Money was, you know, really close right next to them, and Get Money won a game at the last second against the Trailblazers, and the Trailblazers won a game and was a double overtime against Snipe Squad.
Yeah,
So if you think about it, you know, all the games that led up to the finals were so close, which just goes to show, like we've been saying all season long, Greg, the competition and how close it was all season long has been unprecedented. So, shout out to Get Money for capitalizing on a season where they were probably the best team in the league, but only barely. So if you want to keep that dominance going, you want to be a lot better than everyone else. You got to add another guy. You got to bring back Reggie. You got to bring back both Erics. Will Hudson was really good this season, but if you want to be a dynasty in the legacy leagues, you got to be dominant. You got to, go out there and destroy teams next season. So, you can't bank on half court game winners like that every single
yeah.
season to win you a finals. It's miraculous. It was phenomenal. I'm sure it's one of those best feelings you can experience. But at the end of the day, they want to be a dominant team. They got to dominate on the scoreboard. So and the only way to do that is by supplementing even more talent onto that roster. So if I were them, I would add, because you never know. If Get Money adds another guy, then all of a sudden the pendulum swings in their favor. So it's all about talent, man. That's what it comes down to. And you want to increase that talent discrepancy between your team and the rest. And if Run TMC wants to be a dynasty, then they're going to have to continue to do that and make some moves in the offseason. So let's see what Joey Zacco's got up his sleeve.
Shout out Joey, shout out Joey, and shout out Run TMC. Like we said in the beginning of this, they are the champs. So shout out to them getting their first championship. Eric and Reggie getting 3 chips. That's pretty crazy to think about. 3 rings, there's nothing to sniff your head at or sniff your nose at. Whatever analogy you want to make about it. But shout out to our guys, Run TMC. Shout out to Get Money. It was an incredible year for you two teams. And Run TMC ended up taking it, much to the chagrin of some people. But, you got to show them the respect and show them the love. They played a hard-fought game, and they ended up taking it in the end. And it's kind of like you said, Connor, there's a lot of teams that might come back this next winter. You never know if Redemption ever comes back. Maybe get a little Yaga. Maybe you sprinkle in a little, I don't know, No Limit or something. Maybe then you sprinkle in Gentlemen's Club. Maybe they want Redemption. Maybe they're older now. I hope Snipe Squad comes back. Maybe they can add a few more guys. We'll see how the contract negotiations go with their coach. But, either way, I think it was an amazing season. It's always a pleasure doing Legacy Leagues. We love it, and it makes our day and makes our, season when you guys, give us shit if we make a bad pick or if we make a pick you like, you let us know. And just want to say, as always, it's all love to all these teams. Obviously, I ride for Flint, but I love all you guys. And want to give a big shout out again to Run TMC and everyone. And I'll say one more time for Dev, if you are watching right now, you motherfucker Dev. Shout out to Dev. I was wrong. The biggest skis beat my Flint Tropics. And if Flint, you're watching, let's go win a fucking chip next year. Connor, you got anything?
Yeah, man, I just got to say it was an incredible season all around. It was so much fun watching these guys. Keep your eye on, I think, Jacob Morales and the Trailblazers. I think Jacob is super locked into this league. Uh, he's really tapped in on all the socials. He's always commenting. He's very, following along with all the moves that are going on around the league. And he brought a way better team this season than he did in his rookie season last year in the winter. Um, I expect a guy like that, as one of the better GMs in the league, to make some moves on a roster that was already super, super, super talented and had a chance to win the whole thing this season. A couple moves by him and that team, and they might be the favorites next season. Uh, Tyron McRae, great GM. I know that he's gonna, he's not gonna sleep on this one and take it lightly. He went out at the Finals MVP in the offseason, and Kyle Davis. I wouldn't be surprised to see if he brings back some different players and kind of supplements that bench. Like I said, Run TMC, they could do the same thing. I really hope Snipe Squad comes back. Dante Hodge, let's see what happens with him and the back outside boys. Man, there's a lot of storylines to follow. And on top of all this, Greg, we're only talking about teams that we know of. There's always a couple teams that are new every year that we see new guys, new faces. I'm excited to see if there's anything in the upcoming season with some new talented players that enter the league and kind of give some of these experienced veterans a run for their money. So overall, there's a lot of excitement in regards to how the season went, and as well as the prospects of the future season to come, and all the new talented faces that we may see. So just overall, I want to thank everybody for supporting us all season long. Anybody that's been tuned in to watching Greg host the post-game show. Greg, you've been holding it down every week, man. Yeah, that's the most consistent force in the league is Greg just running these post-game shows. I wish I was able to join him a little bit more, like our old weekly rebound days, but glad I was able to get it here on the post-game and have some of the action with you, man. It's been a blast. And, that's basically it from me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I got to echo that. Shout out to everyone who supports the league. It means a lot to us. And, legacy fan for life. Shout out to all the teams, the players, the refs, everyone that, Yep, you got something, Connor?
Eric Singleton. Shout out to Eric Singleton. He called us out when we didn't pick Run TMC.
He did. Shout out to Eric Singleton.
He stayed on us week after week. He was not happy.
He did.
He made sure that we knew he was not happy. And let me just say, watching him win, I went up to him and Will Hudson both at the end of the game. I was shocked, Greg. I said, is this your first championship for both these guys? And they were like, yeah, this is our first one. And it's crazy to think how Will and Eric Singleton, two great players who have been in this league for so long, that was a big moment for them. They shoved it in our face. And, sometimes, Greg, like you said, we got to eat crow. But at the end of the day, man, those are guys that's been supporting us, been listening to us for a while. And it's all love, man. I'm happy for them. So, yeah, shout out to everyone that's always, whether it's good or bad, Greg, if you're listening, you're giving us shit. We're just happy that you're supporting. So we love all those guys. We love our listeners, man. Just want to emphasize that.
No, amen. And I think the weekly rebound, we got our enemies, but we got more riders than enemies, and I'll tell you that. So for this season, it was an amazing one. Shout out to Joey. Shout out to Rosinski crying in the club right now because Joey got a ring. For Connor, for me, for everyone, go Flynn, and thanks for listening and watching as always. The Weekly Rebound.